Hi scholars, I hope you're doing well today. Ms. Perez here with our lesson 2 of this new unit on electricity and circuits. Okay, so today we're going to be investigating the effects of charged systems. So let us start with going over what we're going to need for today. You will need the Simplicity Science website, this classwork document that you found in your Google Classroom, and then you're also going to need this FET simulation that is linked here in your classwork document. So to minimize any distractions, let's just have these 4 tabs open for today. All right, so let us start. So today we are going to be investigating charge systems. The materials that you need are your notebook and your pen and pencil. Then the tabs that you should have open are the 4 that we just discussed. So today we're going to continue to deepen our understanding of how electric charges interact. Remember, we can't see electric charged particles. We can only observe the behaviors that are caused by these charged particles. So yesterday in those demonstration videos that we saw how there was an effect that was causing these charges to attract and to repel. So even though we can't see the charges themselves, we can still see how it's affecting the surroundings. Today, we are going to explore with a simulation that's going to help us make the invisible visible. And then we're going to compare our findings to what scientists have found before. Remember, we want to use the evidence that we gather to support a claim that all objects contain charged particles and that these charged particles affect the behavior of the objects surrounding them. All right? So today's guiding question is going to be, what evidence supports the claim that all objects contain charged particles? And so the aim for today's class is going to be to focus on answering this one question. The way we're going to do that is through a FET simulation investigation first, and we're going to do a quick check for understanding. Then we're going to do a reading, and then we are going to complete an exit ticket. So these are the ways that we're going to be collecting our evidence for today. Okay, so before we start, let's just do a quick refresher of yesterday. So in your classwork document, you can answer this question. What is one method of transferring charge from one object to another? So this is something we learned yesterday. So take the next minute to answer this question. Press pause now, and then press play when you need to come back. All right, scholars, so what is a method of transferring charge from one object to the next? So if you answered that by rubbing certain materials, charge is transferred, then you're correct. If you answered that friction is a method for transferring charge, it is correct as well, right? Because remember, we learned about this before, that rubbing is a form of, there's friction involved. So either one of those responses should have been correct. Okay, now let us begin with our investigation. So go ahead and open the FET simulation tab. You're going to follow the directions of your classwork document. You're going to take the next 15 minutes to explore the simulation and answer the questions in the classwork document. Just to be clear, I'll guide you through this. So this is the simulation. This is what it should look like. Okay. You should have show all of the charges here at the top. And you're going to answer these 4 questions like below. And it's going to guide you, like for example, here at the first part, it says click on the balloon and drag it towards the sweater, and then rub the balloon for the sweater. So it's giving you an instruction on what to do, and then it's going to ask you some questions on how to write down your observations. Okay, so just like this. Right? So we see that by rubbing the balloon on the sweater, something's happening. Okay, so write your observations down. Right, when you Alrighty, so you're going to take 15 minutes to do this. So you can press pause when you're ready to start and press play to join us. Press pause now. All right, scholars, great. Welcome back. So let's do a quick pause to answer this check for understanding. In your classwork document, which one of the following options are true? When an object is positively charged, A, the object only has protons. B, the object has only protons and neutrons. C, the object has electrons, still has electrons and protons, but there are more protons than electrons. And then the object has electrons and protons, but there are more protons than electrons. In your classwork document, take the next minute to answer this question. Press pause now. Great, welcome back. You should have, your answer should have been C. The object still has both electrons and protons, but there are more protons than electrons, right? If something is positively charged, it means that it has more protons, but electrons can still be present, which is something that we should have seen in the PhET simulation that you just performed. Okay, great job. Let's move along. So now we're going to take the next 10 minutes to read the section that's in your classwork document and then to answer the questions that are after your reading. The instructions are laid out in the classwork document, but all you're going to be doing is reading and annotating using the highlighting feature and adding comments on the right margin, and then make sure to answer the questions below. When you're ready to join us, press play again. You press pause now. Great, scholars, welcome back. So hopefully that was enough time for you to read and answer all the questions. So the key points that you should have arrived at during the reading are that all objects contained charged particles, both positive and negative. You should be writing this into your notebooks. These key points are important. So take your notebook out, pencil and pen, and add these into your notes. Another key point is when an object has an equal number of positive and negatively charged particles, it's going to have a neutral charge. When it has more positive charges, it will have a net positive charge. And when it has more negative charges, it will have a net negative charge. Remember, this word net means total, right? We use that word also when we talked about total or net forces back in Unit 2. Okay, and lastly, our exec ticket for today, we're going to make a prediction. So take 1 minute to analyze this image. When these two objects touch, how do you think the charges will interact based on today's reading? Right, so we have a particle on the left that has plus 10 charged particles, and then the particle on the right, it's a neutral body. So first they're separate and then they're going to touch. How are the charges going to interact? So in your classwork document, you can either try to draw it out using the drawing features in Google Doc, or you can just verbally explain what will happen to those charges that are on the positive image on the left. All right, so for the remaining time in class today, you are just going to complete your classwork document and make sure that you submit it by the end of today. If you have any additional questions, make sure to ask your teacher, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.